how got to win the trophy. I'm still not sure which trophy it was. Got pictures of all of them just to be safe. And then just really kind of, how I started and goals as well for the year. So you might see that button quite a few times throughout this speech, because it is a button that I used quite regularly throughout my life in the early days. School. Who loves school? I love school because I could just play around and do what I wanted. Teachers didn't like me doing it, obviously. But school, I used the self-destruct button continually, usually while I was in the principal's office. I remember, I said to Leslie the other day, I remember getting actually the slipper, bending over, slipper 6 times. That was in primary school. So I'm not that old. Then, when I left school, no qualifications, well, God did out of school, no qualifications at all. Thought, you know what I'll do? I'll join the army. I only went to join the army because 6 of my friends went to join the army. I thought, well, that sounds like a fun thing to do. Who were my friends? 6 of them didn't even get through the grade. I was the only one that made the grade. Oh, it's not so fun now. 2 days into basic training, and I thought, you can get stuffed if you're shouting at me. So, told him what to do, walked off the parade, and that was it. Threw the self-destruct again, because I decided the army wasn't for me. All the kind of stories I've heard from the armed forces, people now, you kind of look back, I could have travelled the world, I could have been well into. But self-destruct was it. So I decided I was going to join the police, sort of. I decided to help the police, rather, on a regular basis. Yes, definitely. I avoided the inquiries sometimes. I kind of got tangled with inquiries all the time. And I decided, stuff this for a laugh, I'm going to become a footballer. As you do. And I went and joined Wolves. I was a football coach there. And even though I was a West Brom fan and absolutely hated Wolves, I walked in, and I was a cocky bit at the time. Don't say nothing. I was a cocky bit at the time. And I said, right, I can do that. Basically, I said, I can do that. Give me a chance. And he must have been on a good day, head coach, and he did what? And kind of went from there. And I spent 18 months there. And I went to a couple of different clubs as well. But I started a bad attitude. And bad attitudes, and if your face doesn't fit, and you're not an ex-pro in football, you're not really going to go anywhere. So kind of self-destruct button came out again. And then I started, well, I was told I had to by a boss from an office I went into, did my week monthly review, and he kind of told me to read, and he said he was going to mark me up on the next month review. I thought, I've got to do it now. So I read that book, and that book was really kind of the start to change in my life, because it started to change my mind. I started to realise how to deal with people. I started to realise how to deal with myself, actually. So much so that this kid that was kicked out of school, that was in trouble with the police all the time, actually became a bank manager. I mean, what the hell? That's why the economy went down. I was the bank manager looking after your money. And I was getting paid a boatload of money to do it as well. And I had no qualifications. But after a while, you kind of strive for the next position. Actually, I became a senior manager in banking. But I just knew it wasn't me. I think that's hate. So I pressed the self-destruct button again. Or did I? Because on the 8th of November, I decided to send an email saying, I ain't coming in on the 9th. And on the 11th of November, yes, I've got an idea. I'll join Clean Easy. I'll go put some catalogues out. Actually, I can see the bigger picture. When Lewis, were you saying that obviously you call him people, you call up to, where you got Diggle? Call up to me. I sent Lewis an email saying, I'm interested, watch the videos. 2 days later, he still hadn't got back to me, so I sent him another one saying, are you interested in helping me or not, basically. And Karen in Blackpool phoned, because I didn't realise Lewis was new. They showed me how it worked. When I first watched the videos, it said there were no actors in this, so I literally watched it just to see if I could catch them out of being actors. Then I replayed it and I watched it properly. And I thought, okay, you know what? I've always looked past these adverts before in my life, thought, scam, not interested, whatever. Just come along that time, then you think, well, do you know what? Maybe I'll just have another look then. So I just want to reply to them. And they phoned me up and they went through the numbers. And as a bank manager, I looked at the numbers and I thought, they make sense. I used to say I was sceptical about actually the industry, about the company. But what I realised actually later on, after about a year or two, I wasn't sceptical about Clean Easy, I wasn't sceptical about the industry at all, I was sceptical about me. Because I'd always had a boss telling me, no, Skellern, you will do this, no, you will do this, no, you will do that. And all of a sudden it's really down to me, and I'm sceptical whether I'd have the willpower to actually get up in the morning, get out of my pajamas, and do some work. Well, there's my first check, £291, 12 pence. Not a Facebook posting site. Pure catalogues. And it is my most important check. 22nd of December 2011. £291. I was over the moon, to be fair, because I thought, you know what? I've got some money. It means they do work. I remember putting my catalogues out, picking my catalogues up, and actually being over the moon, because it's the first house I got to, I'd left the catalogue out. Yeah. Okay. And then when I got to a house and put an order out, I do remember jumping. I can't do it now because I'm older now. I do remember jumping in there and clicking the heels and going, come on, order. So that was the most important check. I can't actually remember what's coming next. Okay, oh yeah, right. So, fast forward a little bit, up until period 3 of last year. I earned my £291, but kind of 300s, 400s, 500s, 700s, dropped back down again. In fact, it took me 12 months to get from 15% to 18%. Nothing to do with the pay structure, nothing to do with the company. Just sometimes in your life you get to a stage where you don't need any more, or you don't want any more, or you can't find a way, your mind's not in the right place. But then eventually I got to gold. And then period 3 last year, I bored you lot for 45 minutes. I remember everybody dragging themselves up while we were drinking. I spoke here as a gold distributor. It's the first talk I'd ever done outside the 10 steps. And then actually in period 9 of the same year, last year, I became a bronze distributor, a bronze executive, what it's called. So the tip really is come to the meetings, because you're sitting out there hoping to learn something. Sorry if you don't. But for people that are standing up here as well, it's just as good, because it pushed me out of my comfort zone massively. Because I'd only ever spoken to people in my little circle, and all of a sudden I had to kind of speak to people, and I saw how well people were doing. And I saw Sam there when she'd just started, not long before, and she was absolutely flying on Facebook. And here's me going to tell you how to do Facebook, and she's doing something like $4 grand in a month. I think I wouldn't know any of that one. So, come to the meetings and actually push your comfort zone and get up here and talk, even if it's only a 5-minute testimonial. Now, when I was stood up there, that was my check, £920.88. And it was part-time. I've never really done it full-time. This is the only thing I do now, but it's far from full-time. It's just the only thing. So £920 back in period 3 last year. Became bronze period 9. Now that's where business was at period 3 when I was earning the £920. That's where it went. And that's just because of this meeting, Dave. At that time there, Facebook had probably been doing for about 4 or 5 months. But for me, Facebook, and that's where it is already, started this year, see, it's already higher than it was period 3 last year. Now, for me, it wasn't so much the Facebook selling that had taken us there, or the sales had done it. It was something completely different. And it was how to get people started. Because you know what, anybody can stick a few photos on, and eventually they're going to sell something. But the key is to get people started fast. Because with catalogues, when they join on catalogues, they have to wait 48 hours for the catalogues to arrive. And so many things happen with those 48 hours that negatively notes arrive that tell them, uncle's auntie's best friend, did it for a day, put 5 catalogues out and it didn't work. They tell you there's no money around here. They tell you all these different things, and you can think they're actually doing it to protect you because they don't understand it. You still don't understand it yourself, but you can believe them. With the online side, by watching the videos that we've done, never mind 48 hours, you can do running within 48 minutes. You can get an order, you can get success within those 48 minutes, within that first day. And I'm not talking about a £150 order, because it's really difficult, because you see people like Sammy who's flying, and you see people like Stacey in my team who are absolutely flying, and you're thinking, well, everybody must do that, that's what success has to do. Well, all you have to do is get a £5 order. Get a £5 order on your first day, your second day, and it works. It shows success. And the amount of support you're showing them within the first hour and that first day, they've never had the support like it in any job, I guarantee you, in any job they've ever had before. And they're getting success of getting a £5 order. So actually, when the neckheads turn up, they can turn to go swing, because they've already got more support than they've ever had. They're definitely getting more support than the neckheads are giving them. And they got a £5 order straight away, or a £10 or something like that. So they can see the success. So if there's anything you're going to take from tonight, really, it's not about the retail and how much you can do, it's about how fast you can get other people doing it, how fast you can get somebody to do a £5 order and get them support. Now, with catalogues, that's probably quite a true saying. It's a marathon, not a sprint, because you've got to build up to it. You've got those 48 hours to prepare yourself, to prepare them. You've got kind of the week, the 2 weeks, the 4 weeks where they have to average out over those 4 weeks to see the success. And don't get me wrong, I'm not standing in knocking the catalogues, because I built a gold level without a Facebook posting site, and the catalogues still work now. But if you're going to get people started and they want to come in on Facebook, it isn't a marathon, it's a sprint. You've got to get them started fast. They want to be within seconds. They're on Facebook now anyway. They want to be within seconds putting posts on. Most of the people you'll join are actually going faster than you are, even when you're doing the sprint. That's how fast they can get started. So just remember, it's the online side. It's about getting started, getting them off to a fast start, getting them into the videos fast. Things like getting them friend requests, setting them up with other people. Everybody in this room, sorry Sam, but everybody in this room should be setting them up with Sam as a friend instantly, because then they can see the success that somebody else is having. Okay, it's not then just you and them talking, they're seeing more people. Yeah, they've believed you, but they'll only believe you for a certain amount of time, and then they see other people having the success. What actually happens is it kind of duplicates quicker as well, because the more friends they've got, they haven't got to just come to you for the questions, they can go to other people for questions, so it takes kind of the monkey off your back as well, and shares it. So £920 in period 3, just 8 periods later, £2,953. I did nothing more for that. I tell you, I did not work 40 or 50 hours a week to do it. I didn't have to drag myself out of my bed and travel God knows how far to get it. I didn't have to kind of have a boss telling me how to do this and how to do that. £920 in period 3 stood here. 8 periods later, might have been 7 actually, I'll just put 8 in your sleeves. I don't know, I've got a calculator in front of me at the time when I was doing it. £2,953. Alright, so you mean you're going to get that pay rise in a job. That's my biggest check. Well, this is my favourite check. £2,009. There's 2 reasons for this being my favourite check. One, because if you look at there, look at there, see Skellern, and then this helpless giver. So, okay, let's be with me now. Leslie won't let me forget about catalogues, because Leslie got to 21% on catalogues alone. Okay, as a single mom, without a car. With that one over there, yeah, he's not that quiet usually either. But I'll tell you why why that's my favourite, £2,009, even though it's like £900 less. Dave said something about doing 20 hours. I was trying to work out, and I was trying to put as my next slide my diary, what I did for the kind of those 4 weeks, but I couldn't actually find any space where I did any work. I put my catalogues out once, I picked them up once, I went the next day for, I think it was about 9 or 10 stragglers. I got my retail, did £1,775 retail in that month. Some of it was online, I think it was about £400 online. The rest of it was from customers. So I did my normal catalogues. It's only about 125 catalogues, but I always follow my catalogues up with a thank you for your order pack. Second, I'm picking the order up, put a K-Life book straight through with a thanks for your order. I'll pick this up when I deliver your order. There's about £500 of retail just come from saying thanks, just from the K-Life. So I did catalogues once, picked them up once, did some stragglers, delivered my orders, and I was finished by what, 10, 11 o'clock every day. Might have worked one day till 12, didn't I? Possibly. But we've been out in Liverpool every day, we've been out sightseeing every day, we've been out with the kids every single day. And I still got £2,009. Now it's not for me to stand here and say, wow, for me, it's to say, look, wow, look what you can have. You know, from period 3, £920, 8 periods later, 2,953. And then just 2 periods after that, doing bugger all work basically, and I still get paid over £2,000. I wonder how long you could stay in a job and not do any work and get paid, well, anything, let alone over £2,000. And all the secret is about getting people started, about helping other people. And that's what network marketing is. It isn't this big fancy kind of persuading, people to kind of join. It's just about helping other people and showing them what you do. And if you are new, then you show them your upline, you show them your crossline, you get them to meetings. Now, I used to show this slide at most meetings, saying, think of the consequences if you do nothing. Well, actually, it changed tack because let's think about positively. Think of the consequences if you do something about it. Think of the consequences of your future and everybody else's future in your team, and everybody else's future that hasn't even phoned you yet to say they want to earn an extra income. Think of the lives you're changing if you do something about it. I sat down the other day and I got Stacey and the team who's 24, Lee is 26, there's a joint distributorship. They're now gold. And I sat there in a moment of thought. It doesn't happen very often. There's a tell you, after 2 minutes I'm distracted. I'm going, oh, pretty butterfly. So like, literally it was for 5 minutes, all in one straight go it was. And I sat there thinking, oh my God, how their life has changed at 24 and 26 years old. They've gone from 6 night shifts a week each at Tesco's to Stacey does 1, Lee has just gone down to 2. And they'll be upstairs to leave in the next month, I think it is. And their lives have changed. But now, imagine where their income in their lives are going to be in 2 years' time, and 5 years' time. Incredible. Incredible. So don't think of the consequences if you do nothing for yourself. Think of the consequences for other people. You do something about getting them started and learning. So, 11 months ago, for 45 minutes, I said we're going to go 10 active wide. I love this meeting because I tell you what, I love the ticks on it. I want to come back in 11 months' time because I want to show you the next goal. I said we're going to win the Distributor Challenge Trophy. Now that was really kind of, I didn't even know what the flipping trophy was. And Michael doesn't even know what the flipping trophy was. So I said we're going to win that, and I won it. I had a bit of a scare towards the end. I saw these people bloody catching me up from Ireland. I was thinking, yeah, what's going on here? But won it. I said we're going to go to Destination X at the time, which turned out to be Paris, and I got it. I said we're going to qualify for India, and I got it. Go on. And we were looking at the things last night, weren't we? The rooms. Oh my God, just unreal. And I said I wanted to talk on stage at Clean Easy Showcase, and that was only what's in March, and in May I did. In fact, I remember Ange, you better jump up in a minute with your camera. I remember Ange jumping up when I put that last one on there, taking a photo of it, and literally within 10 minutes tagging Michael Cathcart and saying this is Craig's goal. I kid you not, within that week he phoned me. and said, "We've heard that you want to speak on stage." I was like, did I? So what you think about, what you bring about, but also if you're brave enough to put your goals out there rather than keeping them within, if you're brave enough to put your goals out there, you're going to have a chance to achieve them because you'll get the support of other people. Because by putting them out there, it's not just you doing it then. You've got the buggers like Dave and Anne just telling everybody about it. Okay, so big tip time, have some clear goals, and I mean really clear. But have them really clear as to why you're doing them. Like Dave said earlier, the how made absolutely a difference to him. It's why you're doing it. Be brave enough with the level of your goals. So we can be realistic if we want, but realistic goals get just realistic lifestyle. So let's be unrealistic. Let's really set a challenge. Challenge yourself with the goals that you want, and then tell other people about your goals. So that's because it worked last time. Everybody worked this time. It's you lot. It's your fault. Okay, so here's our goals. Recognise that bloke up there? We're going to hold bronze for 10 out of 13 periods. Now, we've already done it for 4. We missed 2, but we already planned to miss those 2. We knew we would miss those 2, so actually we're quite happy with the 2 we missed. We've got 6 left to go, but we ain't taking the car. No thanks. We're taking 10 grand. Because 10 grand is going to do a lot for us. So, if they don't offer us the 10 grand, we're selling the car. And I'm not accepting a penny less than 10 quid. So that's our first goal. Our second goal is we don't need the car because we're going to win it on the 30-30 challenge. Now we've done 18, I think. We've got a couple due to drop off. But between now and October, we've got to get 14 people to do the 30-day challenge. So we already know what we're driving at the end of the year. That's fine. Sorry, Leslie already knows what she's driving at the end of this year. And we're going to have that. And then we'll keep it. That's going to be our check. Again, I love that part of the check, personal reasons. But that's going to be our check at some point in 2016. I put a date on there because I'm not going to put the fact that we're going to use it for the Christmas period with all the sales because we want it before then. But we will have it in 2016, guaranteed. I'm telling you. And we'll go to Mexico as well. We're going to qualify for Mexico. We might qualify by the league, we might qualify by gold and silver, we might do by both. Doesn't really matter. We're going to Mexico because we've already looked at everything that's there. We've already looked at what we want to do. We've already checked the area out. We know which kind of peddler we're going to really go on. So we're going to qualify for Mexico. And my next thing, now, how long ago did you ask me to do this meeting? About 4 or 5 weeks? About 4 or 5 weeks ago? So, one of the goals we had was to move to Liverpool with Leslie. Okay. It's already come true. So, on the 1st of March, we've got a house sorted in Liverpool, in Highton. So that's where we'll be living together. I have 2 views of my house today. It makes no difference if my house goes or not. We're going to rent it out for other people, but it ain't going to stop us because we're moving in together regardless of what happens to the house. So we haven't shared that. I've already kind of decided to put it on my slides, but I'm not going to take it off because that's one of our goals. In fact, it's our main goal together to live together. So that's already been achieved. Now, it would be wrong of me not to mention how we've kind of achieved it, and how you can achieve it, and how the whole network is kind of getting help. There's another reason, obviously. Now you'll know why I've opened a meeting in Liverpool, even though I live in North Wales. Because I've been travelling from North Wales to it. That was never the plan. And actually opening the meeting was even more of a driving force because we just imagined, we already knew we were there. Everything we did, we planned, we're doing it in Liverpool. So again, what you think about, you bring about. So Saturday the 27th of February. Who's booked in already? Go on. Who's booking in? Cool. Excellent. Right. Who's bringing a friend? Oh, it's more for friends. £12 for friends. Right. So Saturday the 27th. Me and Leslie there. We are going to have Neil Young there as well. Every month we'll have somebody else different. Now, it might not be somebody from the 10 Steps team. It might be somebody from like Martin Catsart, maybe John Russell. And we're not that friends. We might get some stories on him in India and then Friday. But we're going to have somebody there every time. It's not all going to be Facebook. Right? Yes, there'll be a lot of online, but it's going to be the whole thing. It's going to be the steps on goal setting, on the phone call. It's going to be on catalogues. We both believe it's really, really important that new people who come in and say, I don't want to touch a catalogue, we say that's fine, we let them join. But we really believe it's really important that we actually introduce them to the power of the catalogue really, really early on. And the best way to do that is not to tell them they have to, is to let them see other people's stories, let them see other people in the team doing really well on the catalogue. And if they want to start slowly by joining on number 5 option now and start with the 5 extra catalogues given out to friends and family or colleagues, that's fine. We know they're going to get orders of it. And we know when they're going on the webinars and to the meetings, they'll see other people getting success from it. And we know they'll just start asking us about the catalogues rather than what's happening last year. So that's one of the things we'll talk about at the meeting as well. You can book there, and you can go to where it says workshop. So that's one part of the business. I should know this is coming up. Now the other part of the business I'm going to tell you about. If anybody wants a PT, if anybody needs a personal trainer, there's a rather red-looking embarrassed one over there. She does 5 sessions for £99 or 10 for £200. She'll do buddy sessions, so 2 of you approve, yeah? Anyway, that's enough of her. Let's go back to me. So, all I'm going to say for you is, clean and easy, it changed my life. And I thought it was a scam. I remember the phone call that I had with Lewis. He phoned me on his mobile once, he phoned me on his house phone. When I was ready to join, I said to him, mate, I've got your home number and I've got your mobile number. If this is a scam, I will track you down. And I kid you not, that's what I said to him. I think that's why Karen started talking to me. But you know it ain't a scam, and you know it can change your life if you want it to, but there's a key word, if you want it to. Alright, and it is all based on the activity that you do and the belief that you love. So all I'd say to you really is go out there and live the life you love, but make sure you love the life you live as well. That's it.
Did he go over 45 minutes? I wasn't timing him. No, not bad at all. Who thought that was brilliant? Yeah. Because it just shows you what you can achieve from all sides of the business. You don't have to be just online to get fast success. And totally success.